I guess, a New Year resolution team webinar. So the way we pitch this for you, many of you maybe are new to being a member of Engineers Ireland. Some of you maybe being a member for a while, which is great. We'll welcome you both. But I guess it's a great opportunity for you now. I know it's a bit late maybe to still say Happy New Year, but very much Happy New Year, and hopefully this year is a great year for everyone in many ways. So obviously continue to stay safe, but also always opportunity for you to make the most out of your membership and your time with Engineers Ireland. So whether you're a student or graduate or a full member also, you're all very much welcome. So today's talk will be themed around that, so the different ways that you can get involved. So I'm joined by, so first it'll be to myself, Michal will give you an overview of how you can get involved with Engineers Ireland, and then we'll pass it on then to our speakers, esteemed speakers this evening. So starting off, the chairperson of the Cork Young Engineers Society will be John Smith. He'll speak about that and a bit about the Cork region. Then joined by the chairperson of the Young Engineers Society, Brian Feehan, who also will speak about divisions. So some of you will be aware of the different divisions in Engineers Ireland that you may be involved in or signed up to. And then also I'll call on Gregory Allard, then the chairperson of the Thomond region. So that'll be around the Limerick area society, again, ways to get involved with that. And then after that, I'll come back to me then. I'll speak about the student ambassador role. So you may have seen a bit of the highlight of that included in this presentation. So I'll speak about how you can sign up to that and get involved. And then I'll pass on and invite Ren to speak about why they would want to sign up and apply to become a student ambassador. So you'll be joined in at the end. And obviously at the end, you'll be able to ask any questions at all relating to any of the things that the speakers have spoken about and Engineers Ireland in general. So now I'll pass it on to my colleague, Michal, then to get us going.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Pierre, and hello and welcome everyone. I would say for a lot of people, you're all extremely familiar with this, but to say that, you know, this recording and event, it's worth one CPDR. And look, CPD Declaration Day is coming up, so it's a great way to kind of build up those CPDRs and the opportunities that you'll hear about this evening, like whether it's getting involved with a society or a division or like kind of getting more involved generally. There's loads of great opportunities to start building up your CPDR. So if you just click on the My CPD button in your profile, that's how you log your CPDRs. And look, it's really straightforward way of doing it. So I might kind of go on to the next slide and to say, if you're a student member, well, firstly, if you're a student, definitely get your free student membership. It's completely free right up until when you graduate. We definitely always let people in before they do the last exams in final year, but most people join in first and second year. So look, get as much free student membership as you can during your college time. And if you are graduating this year, if you just click the next button, the Become a Full Member button will become available to you in your graduation year, and you'll be able to get a good discount for your first couple of years, where you can save €700 in total. Any questions about it? We always want to try and help you get your graduate membership, so just email us at membership@Engineers Ireland. So yeah, we are invested in your long-term professional development. Tonight's part of that, and I'm going to hand you back over to Pierre. But look, great to see you all, and looking forward to this evening.
Thank you very much, Michal, and that's a great interlude, because I would expect some of you here have maybe just recently become a student member of Engineers Ireland, and maybe in the last year, maybe even today. I was myself and Michal were in NUI Galway. So again, if anyone we spoke to today, you're very welcome to see us again. But anyone who's just recently joined and signed up to a free student membership, so just to let you know what those benefits are. So like this, opportunity to network with other engineers, and I'll show you some of the ways, and the speakers will speak about how you can do that and get involved, whether within your regions, within your divisions, and also the society also. But as you should know, networking is very important in this day and age, and you have a great community of over 25,000 members, which over 6.5 of them being students that you can build up that network and connection with. So starting with that way. Access to e-learning courses, so especially for those graduates and working towards maybe their CPD and maybe becoming getting a professional title. We have courses there available for you to access to both professionally develop, but also personally develop also, and those are accessible for our members. Access to technical resources, so again, You have Engineers Ireland journals, articles, Engineer TV. So you have reports on salary survey, which is something I know is very keenly sought after and looked at by engineers to see the different salary ranges for that. So again, it's accessible, and obviously opportunities to connect with future employers. So you may participate or will be in different webinars or events catered to you, giving you opportunities about future employing opportunities. And we do have some we've already recently held with Intel, and some also come down the pipeline. So again, giving that insight to different career opportunities and any other graduate opportunities roles that are available. So starting first in terms of one thing maybe to highlight that you can get involved in, and I know it's something that's keenly interested by many engineers, and maybe yourself, was your way and insight into engineering as a young person, is our STEPS program. So STEPS is our way to get involved and encourage engineering at a very young age, from primary school all the way to secondary school and even younger. So if you're someone who is maybe involved in that program, which is great, and maybe is also a way for you to give back and get involved. So there's many ways you can do. We have obviously STEPS Engineers Week is coming up from the 5th to the 11th of March, and there's many ways that you can get involved in that by being a role model, highlighting your engineering achievements, and you know, giving demonstrations and showing how engineering can be applied on a day-to-day basis in your local community. So it may involve, you know, visiting your local school and speaking to former students from your own school, recording a video speaking about engineering. And we do have competition, and that will be rolling out in collaboration with NUIG and the Western region on that coming up soon. So keep an eye on that. But if there's any way you want to get involved in STEPS, you can do so by getting in touch with us, and we'll show you how to get involved for sure. So then, as I mentioned earlier, so ways you can network and get involved. So being Engineers Ireland, we're a multifaceted organization. So we have your regions, divisions, and societies. So obviously you see the list of regions split up from including the Northern region and the Great Britain region, all the way down to Thomond and, you know, the Southeast region. So covering all aspects of Ireland. So as the speakers will speak on briefly about the region. So whether you want to join a region that's within your locality, or from where you grew up, or somewhere where you're close to studying or working, those are ways to get involved. Then you have the engineering division, so obviously cater to the different disciplines of engineering. So you have the full range there of ways you can get involved. So again, maybe where areas that you're working and studying in, but also maybe areas that you're keenly interested in. So whether it be energy, environment, and climate action, maybe something you have keen interest to. And then obviously our society. So you'll hear speakers from the Young Engineer Society, but there's also many other societies that you can get involved in. And you're probably asking, how do you do this if you don't know already? So easiest way for you to be able to sign up and choose to get involved and learn about these societies, which obviously the speakers will also speak more about specific to their area, is to your membership dashboards. So if you haven't logged in already, definitely encourage you to do so and pick out in your preferences all the different disciplines, regions, and societies that you can choose. So you can choose any and all of them to keep up to date with everything that's going on and all the events and activities that they may have. So without any further ado, I'm going to call on then the first speaker to speak about the, I guess, Cork Young Engineer Society and a bit about the Cork region, John Smith, to get us kicked off then. So John, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Pierre. I'll share screen. Well, so share, and hopefully that comes up for you guys.
Yeah, you're good there. You see that?
Perfect, great. And so, folks, as Pierre named us there as esteemed guests. So my name is John Smith. I'm actually an engineer as well with ARB Consultant Engineers in Cork, but tonight I'm here and chair as chair of the Young Engineer Society in Cork. And one thing I do just even want to note and talk about again is that Pierre was talking about the student membership and Engineers Ireland and stuff to get involved. And I was lucky enough to get involved with student membership with Engineers Ireland back when I was in college, which is quite, so we're talking four years ago now. Sounds a long time. 4 years ago now, and I was able to obviously the networking and the different benefits, and you have to explore things online, but it's also great then as you move on and you're doing interviews and stuff that you do have this membership with Engineers Ireland, which a lot of employers like to see because you're already thinking about the future and involvement there. And even the employer that I work with actually pays for my Engineers Ireland subscription now that I'm no longer a student, so it's no longer free. And so that was also another great benefit for myself. But they like to see the Engineers Ireland and the connection that way, and that you're looking forward and a future to that, because there's a lot of benefits, including chartership and other things. And Per and Mihal can explain a lot of the different things, and there's different webinars to explain this kind of stuff. So just a brief thought on that. But as I mentioned, I'm the chair of the Young Engineers Society in Cork, which is part of the Cork region. And so Engineers Ireland, they're based up in Dublin, cover all of Ireland, but they have different regions. And Greg is there from Thomond region. He's going to talk a bit more about Young Engineers Society, what they do. And then Brian is there from up in the Dublin region, as we call it, but the main base up there. And then there's a few other regions around as well. Not all have a Young Engineers Society. But the Cork region are great. They have their own committee and branch here, and then we're just a Young Engineers Society of that. And as part of the work, part of what we've been doing as part of the Young Engineers Society in Cork, we've actually just, because we had a bit extra time there over Christmas when a few different events and stuff got cancelled, we decided to use everything that we've been saved up for the past year, the different events that we were able to run, and also the events that we're planning looking forward to make a type of publication, just to explain a small bit more about Yes Cork, what we kind of get up to and what we're looking to do. So that's why we actually made this magazine. So you're one of the first people to be shown it. I'm going to put a link in as well after this. I'm going to be a couple of links actually, just to different things, but a link in just to this issue if you want to have a look in your own time, because I'm just going to breeze through it. But we just made this quickly, so I'll go through it. And so look, just brief thing about, table of contents stuff, but I'll just run through it. And this just explains a small bit about different events that you can get involved with by joining Engineers Ireland, and specifically down in the Cork region. That we as Yes organise, but there's also a lot of other stuff involved there. And there's just a picture of actually, again, online, like we had to do, of the committee down at the AGM, and a few different bits. And there's actually, for anyone that's involved in mechanical services or building services, ASHRAE are doing a mentorship program that you might be interested in, and you can give me a shout afterwards if you are, or Google it. But we just have a note inside there on our project. And I won't go into this in much detail because Greg will be talking a bit more about Young Engineers Society. But again, we just explain a small bit more what we are, the different committee roles that are involved in it, and a sideways, the only way I could fit it, graphic of our committee at the moment, and just kind of how the hierarchy or the different systems work. But if you really want to get to know the committee a bit more, we have these meet the committee slides that we've put on social media and things as well, just to get to know a bit more about the different people who are involved. And if you would like to get involved, then you have to have a name and a face and things, that because we're always looking for members as well, and we're open to any young engineers across the region if anyone does want to get involved. But there's just a few names and faces and a bit more explanation so that you can get to know things. So also included is a summary, just as I mentioned, of some of the events that we did get to hold over the last couple of years, or sorry, over the last year and a bit. So we held a space webinar just based on when ESA were looking for astronauts, and I had a dream for a while just on becoming an astronaut for a small bit. There was a chartership panel event which we host with Engineers Ireland every year, and it just explains a small bit more about the chartership process to younger engineers, because it's an important thing. We helped out STEM Southwest. Again, Engineers Week, it was all online stuff, so we had to change it a small bit. We just had an online kind of game competition night with a few members and outside people, which was a bit of fun. The space event, as I mentioned, and then our AGM, which again had to be held online. COVID was getting in the way of stuff. Normally we have a bit more in-person stuff, but when we finally did get back to in-person, we had our delayed barbecue and kick around this year. So it was great to actually see some new faces on the committee that, even though I talked to, hadn't physically met, but to get back and meet people. And we had a kick around and stuff beforehand to build up our thirst. So just to keep people up to date with stuff that we have done, there's a whole write-up of the different things that we've got up to, but we also look forward to the future and stuff that we are doing. One thing I do want to talk about more, especially if you are looking to interact and getting more involved with the Cork region, is that the Cork region is actually celebrating 80 years, I think it's 2021, 2022, their anniversary, and they've organised design competitions one that's probably more interest to us now is the students design competition, which is more that we've been working with as well. But for anyone that is in a profession or a graduate that has got involved today, there is a professional competition too. And if you want more info, there's loads on the Engineers Ireland Cork website. There's a link as well up on Engineers Ireland to the actual one. But you can reach out to me as well for any questions. But there is a design competition for students, which again we've been promoting quite a bit. It's very simple. It's like a poster design competition for a crossing, so a bridge or a ferry type crossing in over the River Lee or in around the Cork Harbour. And look, there's teams of up to 4. There's prizes of 400 or 200 or 100 euro depending on place and stuff. But it's also just a great chance to add something new to your CV, a chance to get a PR and stuff as well, because we will be sharing the entries and this kind of thing. And again, as I mentioned, I'll put a link in after this, but we're actually holding a webinar YS Cork tomorrow to go through everything that you need to know. And if you have any interest in all getting involved, there's a webinar on tomorrow. I'll put a link in, just register, and we'll go through everything you need to know, even show a few examples of what we're kind of talking about here. So I think if you're here and you're interested, it'd be great, because you don't have to be from Cork to do it. We've entries actually coming in from across different colleges and students across Ireland. So if you do have any interest, make sure you attend the webinar tomorrow. So I'll just put in a link in a small bit. But then going forward, we do have a bit in about our calendar and stuff that we're looking at. So we've already got through some of it. Our Christmas party unfortunately was postponed or cancelled at this stage just with COVID things, but we did get on site into some in MCU, in UCC and MTU. We did our STEPS YES training program. So as Pierre mentioned earlier on about STEPS and getting involved, there's actually a training kind of workshop that you can do so that you can do a school visit as a student or as a graduate. So we'll be holding that again next year, and we'll always like to get involved. So I want to do that, but more looking forward to the different things that we are getting involved in. So that's our workshop on tomorrow night. There's other things going forward, like I Wish, which is Women in STEM event, is happening in February. We've other things going forward, like another chartership webinar, and some other events that we're keen to host with Engineers Week, which is an important one, is coming up there in March. So we'll be hopefully doing a few things over the summer. So if you want to just keep an eye out as well, follow us on social media. We always post our different events and stuff up in there. So just keep an eye out. And you'll also, if you follow Engineers Ireland Cork, or even check out the website, you can see how to get involved with the region in that way as well, especially for some of the older people inside. But any students and our young engineers and stuff, we do encourage you to get involved through the Young Engineers Society. We think it's a great way and kind of an introductory step to the main region itself. Then looked at, that's just a high level main thing of some of the different events and stuff that we have been doing, the chartership event, the YES program, Pizza Night, and then going forward, Engineers Week. We'll have our AGM in May at some point. This is the place where it's the annual general meeting, where if people do want to get involved, you can kind of join the committee or get voted in as the committee. But we're always interested to take people on board, even in an unofficial capacity. And we're hoping to have our in-person barbecue in the summer, nice and early this year as well. So look, we just made this publication. I'll put a link into it if anyone does want to have a further look. But I think that's just a very quick synopsis of the Engineering Society, yes, what we get up to, but also the Cork region and some of the things that if you want to get involved, how you can inside in Cork. Thanks, folks.
Thank you so much for that, John. That was wonderful, and it's a great illustration of that. I'll hopefully maybe get myself a printed out, because it's fantastic the way you've captured it all there in a very nice way, and obviously really excited to see how the Cork Harbour competition will turn out. So obviously, best luck with all of that and all of those participating. But again, thanks, John, for that great presentation. Next, then I'll call on Brian then to speak about the overall Young Engineer Society, and then also speak a bit about divisions also. So, Brian, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Pierre. Hopefully you can see this okay.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I've a couple of slides thrown together here. I don't quite have the excellent magazine that John has, yeah. So I suppose I'm mainly going to talk through my experience being involved with the civil division, and just a little bit about what we're doing up in Dublin at the moment. So briefly, a little bit about me. I'm 28. I work with I'm a civil engineer. I work with ROD in Sandyford in Dublin, and I'm a UCD graduate. So again, I would have been involved in college with the Civil Engineering Society in UCD, and decided to get involved in the Young Engineer Society when I graduated. So yeah, I'm a member since 2018 of both the Yes committee, where I'm chair at the moment, and I'm also a committee member of the civil division. So the big difference between the two, I suppose, generally speaking, is go forward and then go back, is divisions cover a high kind of discipline level of it's a discipline wide level sort of an organization. So a lot of the societies would be affiliated with the divisions. So again, the likes of roads and transportation, geotech, and even the Young Engineers Society technically is affiliated with the civil division. So they do a lot of collaborative work, but a lot of it is kind of high level stuff. A lot of the discussion that's going on would be to do with policy and changes or discussions within Engineers Ireland. So it's a very good learning environment as a young engineer to be involved with. And again, I'm, for example, one of the much younger people on the committee at the moment. It's Dublin based, but all of our meetings are online now and will consistently be online. I think that's worked out quite well. But generally, yeah, they organise, and again, I'd have some input on some of the on one of the presentations this year, say, where they do a lecture series, and again, a bit like the Young Engineer Society, they have the freedom to do it in transport, say in civil, in transport projects, structural projects. We had, for example, a really good lecture last year on to do with sustainable material, and I think there's another presentation coming up that we've been involved with recently as well on that front. So generally kind of high level stuff, and you're getting exposed to people who are generally pretty senior as well, which is quite good. Just from mixing it up and getting to meet other volunteer engineers. They collaborate a lot with this directly with societies. Most people on the division committee are committee members of another society, and we collaborate a lot with external organizations, the likes of ICE, the likes of I think ACEI we collaborate as well with. So you're getting a lot, I suppose, of a higher level experience, which is nice as a young engineer. And just to highlight as well, they're very keen for younger members, especially, to get involved and to have an input. Very conscious that we have important viewpoints and have different perspectives from the older, more senior engineer generation. So definitely, if you're considering it, I'd say get involved. Everyone's very enthusiastic, very friendly, and it's a really great networking opportunity. So just briefly, I've a list to kind of give you an idea versus societies. These would be the divisions within Engineers Ireland. So they're kind of higher level, as I mentioned, compared to societies. But again, you should be able to, if you drop an email to membership or support, or if you, in the case of civil, if you want to drop me a DM in Zoom here, I can put you in contact with our committee and get you involved. Again, generally they meet once a month. It's all generally online, and the more the merrier is definitely the mantra across the board. So I'll finish then talking briefly about the about Young Engineers Society Dublin. So Young Engineers Society generally is open to anyone under 35. So I've many years left, thankfully, even though I've been involved for a while. the society by itself is primarily based in Clyde Road, so it's generally been Dublin based, and it's great again that with online that we're able to pull in larger people getting involved in the wider area. So we are hoping, if things turn out well, to go back to hosting a good few events in Dublin, in Clyde Road. So hopefully we can have our super barbecue as well. But we would also collaborate with the likes of John and Cork and Gregory in Thomond in trying to get some online events, and I'm hopeful that we might be able to, or certainly a few of us will be able to get down to Cork or Limerick soon this year, and that'll be back on. I'd also say we work with, and we've some speakers that work with the likes of Mihal and Pierre as well, and their excellent series, and it's great that we get an opportunity to work with them. I think we had a past chair and a former committee member on last week on the PhD seminar, so it's really great, and it gives you a lot of opportunity if you do want to get involved to get to meet different people, present at different events, and hopefully again get to meet up with people in a social setting and get to know other engineers in other disciplines. So again, if you're interested in getting involved, we've our social media channels. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. We have a group on Facebook, so feel free to get involved, to follow us there, or as I said, you drop me a DM here in this Zoom and I should be able to follow up with some information. Thanks.
Thank you so much there, Brian. Great. Thanks to get the great overview of the divisions itself. It's great to see that kind of aspect, and it's great that you're so heavily involved in it. And I definitely echo that to know there's many ways in any of the divisions that you can all get involved in, and you can see some of the ways you can do, and also hoping that, yeah, we can all go back to some in-person events, as I'm sure we're all eager since the announcement to do that, and obviously looking forward to collaborate across the different regions. So next then, call on then Gregory, then he'll speak more on the Young Engineer Society, but in particular also the Thomond region. So Gregory, thank you, and go ahead.
Perfect. You can see my screen now, yeah?
We can see both your screens. Your
the other one where you're at there, we can see the notes one. So change sliding in.
Boom. It's never easy, is it?
No.
Happens to me every time. Yeah, I stayed clear of PowerPoint this time. I was online. So.
Right. That should be me. So better. I haven't shared my screen now. Okay, how's that?
Yeah,
we go.
Perfect. Yeah, good to go.
Right out of it. Cheers. Thanks for sticking with me for that, guys. My name is Gregory Allard, and I am the chairperson of the Thomond Young Engineer Society. So with the same idea as with John and with Brian, we represent young engineers in our region, and my region is the Thomond, which is Clare, North Tip, Limerick. If anyone's here from NUIG, we're happy to poach you from Galway because they're not supporting you correctly. Just put it out there now. So please do listen in. And if you want to get involved, you can drop us a message afterwards. So why do we need a Young Engineer Society in Ireland? It's because you need to prove that you can do certain things to get your job. So I have a nice little meme here of, what am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. To be honest, like not many of us do at the start, but it's just through talking to other people in the same position, we just learn to feel more comfortable asking questions, or finding people who are maybe in the same discipline as you, but a different company, and saying, I was doing something in drainage today and it didn't make sense at all. And they go, oh, I did that 2 weeks ago. I had the same issues as you, and my solution was this. And just kind of give you a bit of a dig out. So that's kind of the idea behind. So what we're trying to provide is just opportunities just to learn, just to communicate with each other, and to grow. So there's two kind of main streams. One is your personal growth. So what can you do for yourself by getting involved? And the second one then is, what's the outcome of what you put in? What can you do for the world around you? So in terms of personal growth, you can improve communication. just getting involved in the committee and saying, I like that idea, I don't like that idea, or listening or dropping a text or an email. They're all key skills you need to be an engineer and to progress in your career. Again, self-motivation. By just turning up to a meeting once a month, getting involved, that shows a real clear self-motivation. Again, leadership. So when I started the committee, I started way down at the bottom. I was really quiet, really shy. I've been involved 3 years now. Every year you kind of get a bit more responsibility. You kind of work as part of the team, get to know people, talk to people, solve 1 or 2 problems, and you kind of, over time, you get more confident and you can take on a more powerful, or not powerful, but a stronger position within the committee, like chairperson today. And it helps again with just decisiveness. People might have different ideas of how events might be run, etc. And you just say, look, one person in charge, whatever you decide that works, or else you bring it to a vote and you take everyone's opinion into account. So just to summarize, you get involved with the YES and you can improve yourself as an engineer and as a person in general, hopefully. And then you have the personal growth. You also have the public impact. So the picture in the bottom left is from the STEPS Young Engineers Award. And I think for me, STEPS is really important because it teaches kids and students at a younger age what engineering is. For me, it wasn't until I went to my open day, like in the middle of leaving cert, right after I had to really pick the course for college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And once I went to this open day, I actually met my first engineer of my life, who actually sat me down and explained, look, this is what civil engineering is. And I went, oh, that's all stuff that I like. How could I know about this sooner? So for me, and for probably everyone else can probably agree, it's important to get involved in kind of the STEPS side of things as well with Engineers Ireland. And you get to make people happy. So the picture on the right is a pub quiz we held about 2 years ago. We had 80 attendees. Everyone had a great time. Everyone was chatting, socializing, meeting other engineers, maybe from different disciplines, different colleges, people you wouldn't normally get to meet, and share ideas, having arguments, discussions, whatever way you want to talk about. But it's just a great way to get involved with your peers and chat to people and make new friends, hopefully. So yeah, just put it in official terms, we represent young people. We provide our members with opportunities for professional and personal development. We create networking opportunities and encourage people to communicate with each other. And we organize events such as the one Pierre and Michal have organized tonight, where people can come, they can ask questions and learn more about engineering or get involved as part of engineering. And hopefully when things go back to proper normal, we get out for a few visits to a few different places. So how can you reach out to us? You can follow us on Instagram, or you can follow us then on LinkedIn. We try to be as active as possible. You can even drop us messages or anything at any point if you have any questions or any worries about engineering, and we can get back to you and we'll help you out if you're stuck. And I think the same goes for all the young engineer societies. So this is a quick list of the past events we've had. So you saw the pub quiz. We also had a CV clinic, which we thought would be useful for kind of students and grads who are struggling to write a CV for an engineering subject. So we got a few professionals who work in kind of HR or CV reviewing roles, and they came on and they talked about their personal experience with CVs and maybe how you could possibly improve them. And again, point 4 is young innovators. So we try to support young people who are doing good things in the community and bring them on and offer them a platform to talk about what they've been doing and share their ideas with us. So this year we're hoping to do kind of the build on the CV clinic is an interview skills workshop. So we're going to have someone again from HR come on and talk about your CV has been accepted, you're going for interview, how does that work? So that should be interesting. We're going to flip engineering on its head and not talk about all the calculations and maths behind engineering, but just talk about the basic, like why is engineering interesting? Like what hobbies could you have? Are you playing music and you're look at your guitar and like, this is really interesting. How does this work? Are you playing golf and you're wondering how your golf club is useful? So when you strike the ball, I think a lot of people know that the golf ball is actually restricted to have those dimples because they found that back in the day that old golf balls which were worn actually traveled further than brand new golf balls which were smooth. And it's to do with the drag and how the aerodynamics cling to the golf ball. You can look it up on Google, it'll probably be a bit more informative than I am. that's just one example. Again, site visits, so you come along, a chance to talk to your peers, etc., go out and learn about industry. And again, a pub quiz and other social events to get chatting to your peers as well. So when can you get involved? We have a meeting on Monday at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So if you just drop us a message on Instagram, we'll give you the link, and there's a nice kitty there just to really sink in. Monday, come get involved. So thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you're all awake now. I think Brendan will be thankful to be all fully engaged with you. Again, that's our Instagram and our LinkedIn. So I'll leave that there for a few seconds for you to take that all in, and you can get involved. So thank you very much for listening. Pierre, you can take control back. I think everyone will be thankful for that.
No, thank you so much, Gregory. That was a great presentation overview. I'm definitely looking forward to the engineering with hobbies one. I'm not much of a golf fan, so if maybe that might change my viewpoint on that. So but no, thank you so much for that great presentation. I definitely do encourage you to follow all the societies. Obviously, this presentation is recorded, and any links and anything information about societies will be shared after this event also. But definitely encourage you to get involved with all of that. So now then back to me, and go then speak a bit further on the other aspects of ways you can get involved. So thanks again to all the speakers again for their wonderful presentation, and then I'm going to then move on to then the new aspect of initiative rolled out by Young Engineers, sorry, by the Engineers Ireland, is our Student Ambassador initiative. So this is just recently launched, as we've seen there's a great interest and a great support network there on people, and engineers just the same way as John, Brian and Gregory, who are great ambassadors in their own ways for Engineers Ireland, but we know there's also many more across Ireland. I'm going to give that platform and opportunities for students and young engineers to get involved. So the student ambassador role, so as you see there, roles and responsibilities. So what would that mean? So point of contact for Engineers Ireland and third level institutions. So ourselves, we are Engineers Ireland, we engage, especially myself and Michal, we engage with third level colleges, but in order for us to do that, we do engage with academics, but also we engage with students, in particular to the societies, and Ren will be able to speak more on that later on too also. But also we want to be able to engage through students also, because, as the speakers mentioned earlier, is that the best way to learn and get involved is by understanding what you want to get involved and learn more about Engineers Ireland. We're not day-to-day engineers, but we want to ensure that we keep our events relevant to you, and you'll be able to point us in the right direction for that. Obviously, a key aspect is supporting us in our promotion of Engineers Ireland membership and the activities going on. So there's many events going out there, as you can see, a full range of things that maybe yourselves aren't aware of, but maybe your peers also may be interested in. So make sure we want to keep everybody well informed and ways that they can get involved and attend those events, and obviously spread the benefit of the free student membership across on offer for all engineering students. So it's endless stuff that we can share and get more people involved in. Obviously, a great opportunity to get involved in our presentations, and as Gregory pointed out, is that there's many ways that you can develop yourself, both personally and professionally, and definitely ways is around helping in a presentation, learning skills for organizing events, and we would like to give those student ambassadors the opportunities to do that. Support our collaboration. Engineers Ireland, as you can see, we see a key focus on collaboration is really important, and great way we can do that and supporting the college engineering societies and also our sectors, which includes the young engineer societies, also in order to again further that development and opportunities for everyone. And obviously, as like I said, as ambassadors, you would know best. So you may have great and brighter ideas in terms of how we can, support young engineers and students across Ireland. And if you come up with ideas, any initiatives, we're more than happy to support. Engineers Ireland is there to be, supportive and get engineers and students involved and love engineering and learn from it too. So please do be eager to come out of that. I guess the key thing to note here is that the role is voluntary. So like the speakers themselves, they're all doing this on a voluntary basis. They all have their jobs and roles on the day-to-day, but they do this voluntarily. And like this, again, we do pride ourselves, Engineers Ireland, by the great work that our volunteers do, and we are very much appreciative of that, and we try our best to recognize them. So there will be opportunities to get the great free merchandise. So some limited available hoodies that are available to give away. Obviously, again, further training opportunities to develop yourself both personally and professionally that maybe not otherwise available to you, like public speaking or communication skills. And obviously the key thing, as Gregory again pointed out, in terms of showing that experience that you have, and we'll be able to offer you that reference from Engineers Ireland that maybe give you that foot into the door, future job opportunities or graduate opportunities again, and also to recognize the wonderful work that you can do on behalf of Engineers Ireland. So in terms of the process to apply, so like it was in the link to this event, and I'll also pop it into the chat also, is that there's an application form. It's not too rigorous. All it is obviously get your key information so you can contact you. And then obviously the key aspect that we're looking for in a potential candidate is to understand why you want to become a student ambassador, and obviously why we should select you out of maybe many other candidates. But we obviously, again, we would love to get as many student ambassadors on board, and across the network of colleges. So don't be too put off by the questions. We just want to understand your interests and your willingness to get involved. I guess the minimum requirements really is that you're Engineers Ireland member. So if you're already here and you're a member, you've ticked that box, and also that you're a registered student. So we need to know which college you're coming from and that you are still a student involved in that. So that's also a key aspect of it. And then in terms of the next steps after that, so after you've applied, so don't be again put off. It's not like a strenuous interview process, 3 stages, having to do a presentation, all that. So we just again interview where, if you are successful, arrange a meeting in order to again explain the role, so you can pretty much be aware of what's involved and what's expected in the role, understanding your availability and how maybe ways that you can support and get involved, and again lay out some of the plans and initiatives that you can get involved in. Again, there'll be training providers so you can understand the roles, understand Engineers Ireland a bit more, and again support you in your role as a student ambassador. And all we expect you at this stage of it, since it's just launched in January, and I know for this role it's kind of mid-academic year, and because it's a new role, we kind of want to run it as a pilot to see how it's run. So all we ask is that you at least be participants for the rest of academic year. Obviously, depending if you're maybe going to do this and you're currently in final year, or you're in 3rd year and you may have other priorities for the next academic year. But again, we'll open up opportunities for you to stay on if you like, again with the requirement that you just have to be a registered student and still a member of Engineers Ireland. So the deadline to apply is Sunday the 13th of February, so not too far away. And again, I'll share the link on how you apply. So before I go on and finish, I'm going to call on Ren Bracken. They will explain and introduce themselves, and also give an insight to why they applied for the student ambassador also, which is great to have someone like yourself eager to get involved and support Engineers Ireland. So Ren, go ahead.
Hi Pierre, thank you. I suppose I'll just give a small background about myself. My name is Ren Bracken, and I'm a 2nd year student of structural engineering in MTU, Bishopstown, formerly CIT. And I'm also the new chairperson of the Civil Structural Society in MTU. I inherited the role from my former committee member, Kate Brady. And I suppose I've had a fair bit of engagement with different engineering opportunities. So during the summer, I was doing a course with Foroiga. I was running it for younger kids, and I've had a lot of interaction with yourself, Pierre, in terms of organising events with the society on campus. And I believe I've interacted with John Smith as well, not in person, but we've had some interaction by email. And I suppose I wanted to get involved with the student ambassador role when I heard it coming up, just because it just seems like an excellent opportunity to get more involved in the engineering community at large. I feel like sometimes when you're in a college course, you can kind of get caught up in the actual kind of nitty-gritty kind of details of, like, calculations and stuff, and you kind of don't get a sense of the bigger picture in terms of like what you're going to be doing after you graduate and what opportunities will present themselves. But I feel like Engineers Ireland provides that kind of opportunity. So for example, they provide like different courses. I was just looking at the CV writing course, and I think that that's such a brilliant idea. Just because I feel like most people's only experience of CV writing is in 4th year or in TY, and having that opportunity to do a CV writing course that's specifically for engineers is just such a great opportunity. And like the different things that you can find on the Engineers Ireland website is just, it's amazing to be able to see the kind of things that you'll be doing outside of college, you know, because I feel like we can get so focused on passing our exams and all the things like that we don't actually take time to kind of familiarize ourselves with the current situation regarding engineers in Ireland. So like different projects that are going on, different like aims that different places have, and as you were saying here, the charterships, like the seminars and stuff that you can avail of to further your personal growth and kind of achieve different things. So I think that that's the particular reason that brought me towards the student ambassador role, because I think that people aren't aren't aware of these opportunities that are available to them. And I kind of wanted to get involved. And obviously for me personally, it's like an excellent opportunity to like grow and develop my skills, in particular with the training in terms of public speaking and things, and just build professional relationships with different organizations that will serve me after I graduate college. So I guess it's like both personally beneficial and also beneficial to others in your course, like particularly for younger students that haven't gotten involved with Engineers Ireland yet. I know like most people here would have, but just an excellent opportunity to like get people on board, you know.
Thank you so much, Ren. That's great insight and honest view as to why, and it's great that you've shared that, both the personal reasons why and also the professional reason why. And I think it's many cases why many of us get involved in many ways. There be societies, you know, whether it be other community initiatives, and you've heard from previous speakers. I'm sure it's similarly the same for them. They both see the personal and professional benefits of getting involved. So I'm sure you've inspired many people. I expect a flood of applications coming in now. I'm going to have to either thank you or blame you for the extra work now to sift through. But thank you so much, Ren, and I guess look forward to working with you in many ways also. So we're now almost come to the end of the presentation and tonight's event. So firstly, I just want to say thank you to so much to all the speakers who joined this evening. So John from Cork Young Engineers Society, Brian, unfortunately had to run off there as he was doing this in work, so I guess he got kicked out from that. But thanks to him for his presentation. Also an overview on the division side of things. Gregory on the Thomond Young Engineers Society, and also just there, Ren from MTU Cork and why to sign up for the student ambassador role. So thank you all our speakers. Thank you to everyone for joining and participating. We're now going to stop the recording so that you open up any opportunities you have for questions from myself